And she called for Gopal. Gopal, come here. Were you eating dirt? And Krishna kind of turned his head to the side and put his hand over his mouth. He said, no. Mother Yashoda said, let me see your mouth. Open your mouth. And I think you know what happened next. She got a big surprise. Krishna showed Mother Yashoda his universal form. Now that's something with great opulence. When Krishna showed his universal form to Arjuna in the battle of Kurukshetra, Arjuna became frightened. And he started begging apology from Krishna. Oh, I made a big mistake. I was sleeping on the same bed with you, eating off the same plate with you, thinking you're my bosom friend. This is not good. Please forgive me for my offenses. Dosha kami moadami kodami jadas. And Krishna wasn't so thrilled by that. So what happened to Mother Yashoda when that happened? She didn't understand that her boy was God. She saw that universal form and she became frightened. Because she thought, oh, a ghost has entered into my Gopal's body. Or maybe some witch. So she wanted to call for the Brahmins to do some puja. But that day, Nanda Maharaj and Rohini, they had gone to Upananda's house, Nanda Maharaj's elder brother, and all the Brahmins went with them. And so everyone was gone, and Mother Yashoda was alone with Krishna. So then Mother Yashoda, she's a very wise person. Don't underestimate village ladies. They have their own kind of intelligence and wisdom. She knew what to do. So she went to the Goshala, and she picked up filled up a big bucket full of gobar, cow dung. And she went back to Gopal, and she started smearing it all over his body. All over his hair, and his face, and his head, every inch of his body. And Krishna's standing there. You have to really experience this. With the gobar all over his body, and he was thinking, everywhere else, when I show my Virat Rupa, they offer prayers. But here in Brooks, they just smear me with cow poop. That is not good. From now on, I won't show this form. I won't do this. Because there's some difference in Braj. And this is the Krishna consciousness movement. Sometimes devotees, they intelligently point out that Srila Prabhupada writes in one purport in the second canto that as long as someone is not on the platform of pure love, the deities, Radha, Madan, Mohan, in their form of Krishna won't accept our worship. But rather it's Lakshmi Narayan who are accepting our worship. Prabhupada says that. However, Srila Prabhupada never told us to put a Shankha Chakra Gada Padma, the symbols of Vishnu, in the hands of the deity. Although he may not accept our worship because we're not on that platform, still we do that because Sri Vigrahara Dhana Nityanana Shringara Tan Mandira Marjanadu Yuktasya Bhaktam Chanayum Jatopi. That Gurudev, he's doing that service. And we're just doing it on his behalf. And so we're doing it in the way that he wants us to do. And we have that as our goal. Even though Radha Krishna may not be accepting our worship at this time, we don't pray Sri Lakshmi Narayan Premi Sadayena Basi. We don't pray like that. We pray that Sri Radha Govinda Premi Sadayena Basi. And just as a little footnote about those prayers, there's a number of reasons why we pray that, what is it? Brindaya Tulsi Deva Priya Kesavas Krishna Bhakti Pradidevi. Because that's the way it's given. In all the Bengali songbooks, all the Sanskrit books, that's the way it's done. In all the Gaudiya Mats, that's the way it's done in all the other different Vaishnava societies. And there's another good reason why we do it. One, because it's our philosophy. We don't worship Narayan. And the fourth reason, because it was established by Srila Prabhupada. You may be a little surprised about that, because Prabhupada wrote a letter to Govinda Dasi, giving a mantra as Vishnu Bhakti. But then a few years later, Achyutananda Prabhu, he compiled this Vaishnava songbook. It's our official ISKCON book, which Srila Prabhupada wrote a foreword to. And in that book, it says Krishna Bhakti Pradidevi in the first edition. And then later they changed that. So anyway, there's a good reason to chant Vishnu Bhakti if you like. Prabhupada said that. And there's another 3 or 4 good reasons why you chant Krishna Bhakti. That's just a little footnote. Please excuse me for the media controversy. So, Bakasura. The Garga Samhita describes, it gives a very interesting description of how it is that Bakasura was such a good friend of Kamsa. We were reading yesterday from Jiva Goswami's Gopal Champu, and Kamsa said that Bakasura, Paramasura, Bakasura, he's my very dear friend. Well, how did that come about? Garga Muni describes, Tundanata Vasantam Cha Bhaktam Daityam Mahabalam Kamso Nipatayam Asa Mushtina Brajagatina. He said that when it's very powerful and demoniac, many people translate it as duck. It's kind of cute to say duck. But actually, as we'll discuss in a few minutes, Baka means a crane. It's an important distinction. When he came and tried to swallow him with his beak, then Kamsa Nipatayam Asa Mushtina, Mushtina means with his fist, Brajagatina, his fist, which is as strong as a thunderbolt, he punched him and he knocked down that bird. Utaya Daitya Balavan Sita Paksha Ghanaswana Kroda Yukta Samutpatya Tikshnat Kundo Grisachchatam. And then that bird got up and he made a sound like thunder and he angrily swallowed up Kamsa. It's the nature of demons and demoniac people. See, Bakasura came to Kamsa's palace looking for a good fight. And that's what people with big muscles, it's kind of a guy thing, ladies, you don't really understand. But men just sometimes, they just like a good fight. So Bakasura was like that. He was a very, very powerful demon. And he came and he challenged Kamsa. And so they had a big fight. And he swallowed Kamsa. And Kamsa became very angry. And it says that his body became like a thunderbolt. And Bakasura had to spit him out. And then Kamsa grabbed Bakasura and threw him on the ground. And then Kamsa grabbed him with both hands, whirled him around, and began dragging Bakasura here and there. And then at that time, Bakasura's good sister, she became a little upset about that. Tat swasaram, tat swasapram putanakyam yodukam amavasti tam tamaha kamsa prahasan vakyameshinu putane. Putana, who's Bakasura's sister, older sister, she came there and she said, look, you leave my little brother alone. Fight with me. And Kamsa told her, Striya sardam aham yudham nakadomi kadachana. I don't fight with women. Bakasura shame brata tvam chame bhagani baba. Bakasura has become like my brother, and so you should be my sister. And this is a very interesting thing I'd like to return to in a minute about the family life, or the family of Bakasura and Putana. There's some description given in two different literatures that I found about Bakasura's previous birth. One of them I'm not going to discuss. Maybe I'll touch on it. I'll explain to you why I'm not so interested in it. That's described in the Brahma-Vaivarta Purana. And it's a completely different description than what our acharyas give about the conclusion of Bakasura. There it said that Bakasura was actually a devotee, and he went and he along with some friends, they were picking lotus flowers in Kailash, and it was a pond which belonged to Durga, and Lord Shiva had promised that whoever picks lotus flowers in that pond, I'm going to curse them to become a demon. And so although they were devotees, they became cursed to become demons, and one of them became Bakasura. And then it says that he later went to the spiritual world to serve Krishna. That's completely different from what Sridhar Swami says in his Bhavarta Deepika commentary, and Jiva Goswami in Lagu Vaishnava Toshani, and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in Sartha Darshani, and 14th chapter of the 10th canto, which we'll also come to in a few more minutes. Because those places describe that Bakasura received Kaivalya Mukti. He got impersonal liberation. So then how do we reconcile this? Well, very frankly, there's some questions sometimes about Brahma-Vaivarta Purana and about Garga Samhita. Sometimes people say that Sanatana Goswami quoted Garga Samhita. That's not true. If you look in the Sanskrit, he doesn't anywhere mention Garga Samhita. We quote Garga Samhita because Bhaktivinoda Thakur liked it. and Bhaktivinoda Thakur extensively quoted it, and because it's okay. But there's some things in the mood of it, and in the mood of Brahma-Vaivarta Purana, that we don't really appreciate. And there's a lot of scholars who give some question about these two literatures, although our acharyas often quoted from some version of Brahma-Vaivarta Purana, and as we mentioned, Bhaktivinoda quoted many times from Garga Samhita. So in the first canto, chapter 6 of the Garga Samhita, there's a conversation between Bahulashva and Narad Muni. Bahulashva asked, who was this bird before, this Bakasura? And how is it that he was able to enter into Krishna's body? And so then Narad Muni began to explain to him about his previous birth. He said that Hayagriva Suto Daitya Utkalo Namahe Nipa Raneya Maran Vinirjitya Shakka Chatram Jaharaha. He said that he previously, in his previous birth, he was a demon named Utkal. And he was the son of another demon whose name was Hayagriva. And at that time, this Utkal, he attacked the demigods, and he stole Indra's umbrella, Indra's parasol. And then for 100 years, this demon, he began ruling over so many different personalities. And then one day, that demon was walking around. Maybe he was like on a summer vacation or something, because demons like to go on vacation. And demons, when they go on vacation, what do they like to do? They like to go fishing. So this Utkal, he did like that. He went to one place, and there was the bank of the Ganga was there. The Ganga was meeting the ocean. And it happened to be a rishi named Jajala Muni's ashram. And Utkal went there and he started fishing, like every good demon does in Kali Yuga. And he caught a fish on his hook. And at that time, Jajala Muni, because he has some mystic power, he could understand what was going on. He came there and he said, hey, no fishing allowed here. We were in Lithuania earlier this year, and staying with Vaikuntanath Prabhu and the wonderful devotees. They have a farm, they call it New Gokul Dham. And they have a beautiful lake, a Radhakund. They pour Radhakund water in it. They have a nice bridge over to a beautiful Govardhan hill there. If you go to Lithuania, you should definitely visit. It's very, very nice. There's a few devotees here from Lithuania. So Vaikuntanath Prabhu told me that they put fish in the pond because the fish help keep the pond clean. They eat the nasty kind of things there. And there was one lady who came, she wanted to fish because they saw there's some very huge fish there. He said, no, you're not allowed to fish here. Then the devotees, they had to go to India or something. They were gone for a while. And while they were gone, those people came and they started doing their fishing business. So some people, they like to catch fish. And the devotees always tell them, don't do this. So Jajala Muni, he told Utkal, don't do this, you're not allowed to fish here. And Utkal just ignored him, even though he forbade him again and again. And then that rishi, Jajala Muni, he told him, Tasmai sapam dado siddho jajalir muni sattamaha bhagavatvam jasam asti tvam bhako bhava durmate. So, oh demon, you're eating fish like a baka, like a crane, and therefore you should become a crane. And then in one moment, Utkal became a bird, a crane. And he lost his pride and arrogance. And at that time, he fell down at the sage's lotus feet, and he prayed to him. Na jani te tapaschandam muni mam pahi jajale sadhunam bhavatam sangam mokshadvaram param vidu. Oh sage, please save me. I didn't understand what I was doing. I was a stupid fellow. The wise persons, they say that association with great saints like yourself, mokshadvaram param vidu, is a great doorway to liberation. Nitya shato samamani pamani malostayo suke dukkha samayedvai twadrisa sadavaschate. Great saints like you see friends and enemies in an equal way. They see that honor and dishonor, gold and a lump of earth, happiness and unhappiness are all the same. Kim kim na jatam mahatam darshanako mune nidam parameshcham tasamrajam ayendra yoga padam lobet. He said, oh my dear sadhu, what can one not obtain just by seeing a great saintly person? Just by seeing a great saintly person, parameshcham, you may attain the abode of Lord Brahma. Samrajam, you may become a great king. Ayendra, you may become Indra. You may get that position just by having darshan of a great devotee. So then Jajula Muni told him, he said, okay, I give you a benediction that in Dwarpar Yuga, in Mathura, in the place known as Braj, Tadatan Mayatam Krishne, Yashyasi Tvam Nasamsaya, Hiranyakasadoyo Daija, Vairanapi Paramgata. He said, you'll be killed by Krishna, and you'll enter into Krishna's body. He said, even by hating Krishna, many great demons like Hiranyaksha, they've already attained the Lord. And so, by the blessing of Jajula Muni, this demon, Utka, he became Bakasura. And by that blessing, he was able to enter into the body of the Lord. So, I have a few questions we'd like to raise at this point. Why is it that this demon had the form of a crane? What is the special purport behind that? And what is the special purport? Again and again it was mentioned that Krishna stuck in his throat, actually in his mouth, it said. It didn't even reach his throat. Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes this pastime in a few different places, and we'd like to take shelter of his words. In his Chaitanya Sikshamrita, the sixth shower, he describes, actually I have to mention a little thing. We looked this up in the Bengali. If you can, you should try to read some Bengali. I don't know Bengali, I don't know Sanskrit. I can read a little something, and I can use a dictionary. If you do that,